So today I'm going to be installing some Rockshox Judy Silver TK suspension forks onto my mountain bike on my Ozark Trail. It's 29-inch, 100 millimeters, 51 millimeter offset. Should be a straight swap. It's got a quick release air fork. So just to go through the tools that I used. Couple of Allen wrenches, the right size, tape measure. Obviously, you want to make sure all your measurements are right. Some good grease everything up. Mini tube cutter. If you don't have that, you can use a hacksaw and a saw guiding tool. I find this makes the best cut, cleanest cut. And then a good metal file to file down the edges of the inner tube. A mallet to bang things with, which has got a rubber end, so you don't damage anything. The specialized tools that I needed were this is the star nut setting tool. It comes with some star nuts, that's to get the star nut into the stem, which I think there's other ways to do it, but this specialized tool, it was like a couple of dollars, $8 or something off Amazon. And again, this thing, the crown race setting, I was able to get the crown race off by myself, but you could also use PVC tubing, I've heard, if you have some of that's the right kind of diameter, because it works the same. Again, that was only like $8 or something off Amazon. And some rags just to clean up your mess. Some rubber gloves, I always use rubber gloves when I'm applying grease. And a shock pump as well, just to put the air into your shocks. So not everybody has the luxury of having a bike stand, but I've got two kitchen tables or two kitchen chairs on a broom post, a wooden stick. It goes through there. I'll keep it hoisted up. You gotta do what you gotta do, you know. So let's start by getting the old fork off. Start by loosening the headset here. Next thing we want to do is get our brakes. Get the brake off the fork. Drop your Allen key. A little bit of advice as well, maybe you want to get a little bit of cardboard, or sometimes you get with brake bleeding kits a little blocker to put in your a little stopper to put in your brakes when you take them off. I'll show you that, because you don't want to be pulling if your brakes are off the rotor and you accidentally pull them. It's not going to be good. You have to reset your brakes. So I'll show you that now. So what I'll do when you take the brakes off the rotor here, let's get a little bit of cardboard and stick it in there. So let's get some Velcro cable ties and just stick the brake to the frame of the body there, just to keep it out of the way, and then we'll get back to taking the forks off. So this part you kind of have to be careful. I would just put your hand underneath there, just be prepared for the fork to fall out once you loosen the head nut here. Sometimes it could just fall straight out onto the ground. And even though this is an old fork, I still don't want to damage it. Look, you don't want to scuff your floor up and scare the living daylights out of yourself. So just be prepared. Some of them you might have to prise out. Some of them will just slip right out the bottom. And I don't know if you can see there to my right, I've got a rag, piece of shot cloth, and keep stock of all your nuts and bolts and put them in order, which is going to be important. Make sure you keep them in order, your spacers and washers. And notice that there's like about 3 millimeters in there between the star nut and the actual frame. Now I'm going to be doing a straight swap, but I'm going to measure from there to there. But if you were doing a proper one, you would need to take away you would need a minus 3 millimeters or so there for that. But I won't need to do that because I have all mine set the way I need it to be. So I'll just be able to take this off and score it onto the new one, and then cut. And then I'll need to get a new star nut in it. So let's get this off then. Then the fork. Okay, we'll get the handlebars off. Alright. And then you're taking these wee washers off and your nut. Headset washers here. Just put them in order on your thing, on your rag that you have to the side. So we got the old fork off, we got all the bearings and stuff out in line. Just make sure you get your crown race off. Now I'll show you how to get the crown race off. It can be tricky. So this washer like thing is called a crown race, and you can see that there's a little, you can get a device to take it off like, but there's a little groove there that you can get a flathead screwdriver in. You kind of just gotta prise it and bang at it, obviously with a soft hammer mallet like, but it might take a little while, but keep at it. Okay, so you keep banging on that, and eventually the crown race will come off. So we'll take that crown race off, and that's going to go on to the new shocks, onto the new forks. We need a special tool to put that on, which we'll check out now. So first thing we're going to do before we put the crown race on is just get this a little bit lubed up, get some grease on here. Just where the crown race is going to be sitting, just make sure it's nice and greased. All right, so we get that greased up. Then we get our crown race here. That's off the old fork, and that'll go on the top like that. Now it's not going to. You want to get it down the very bottom there, but it's not going to go down. So you need a special tool for that, and it's this thing, the crown race setter. It's just a tube. You can also do this with PVC tubing, I've heard. So that slides over the top, and then they give you a whacking tool here. So you put this on and blatter that down. You can also bang it with a hammer if needs be, until that crown race is sitting right at the very bottom. And it has to be seated right there. Just blatter that down and make sure that the crown race is nestled nice and tightly. And I'll give it a wee clean up here and put some more grease on it. So I double checked all my measurements, and got my little tube cutter attached on here. Make sure not to attach it on too hard, and then you just twist that around until it breaks off. So just make sure it's definitely on the right spot. A wee bit tighter. So let's keep twisting that for like what felt like an hour. Don't rip it off either. When you feel it here cracking, it'll just cut. You want a clean cut, just like that. Perfect. So now we got our stem. Our new fork is the right size, but that's a mess there in it. So what do we got to do now? We got to get a file and file that down. So next step, you get a metal file. I'm gonna file this down. You don't want any like rough edges. You want that as smooth as possible. So just carefully, but also might be better doing it upside down. You don't want any metal filings. You don't want anyone near your hardware. Let's get some sanding. So this is a star nut. This is the old tube. So this is the thing in here that connects your headset, your handlebars to the stem. So we need to get one in the new fork. But we got to get this in here. So to do that, we need a tool. We need a star nut setting tool, which is this thing. So this little thing comes off. You want to screw that in first of all. You've got this thing too, but then you want to screw your star nut onto that, like that. Then get your tube, put that in like that. this will go on the top of the tube like that, and then we'll blot the living life out of that with a hammer, rubber ended. So just hold the casing secure, get your hammer, and just blot out that thing as hard as you can until it goes right in. Just be careful of your shocks, like to make sure they're not banging off the ground or anything. So I've successfully blotted that down until it's level, so you can take that off. And then our star nut is in there. We just need to unscrew that. It's a bit tight, so we'll need to get some pliers here. So we unscrewed that, pick the bits out. Now we've got a star nut in there, so it's ready for installation now. And there should be a 3 to 4 millimeter gap there. While they have all your washers and stuff out, like, just give them a clean, just check them, give them a clean and cover them in grease. That's what I've done. So now we're ready to install them on the bike. So there we go, we got that, got it, the head stem tightened on. So there's a pair of Rockshox air fork on my bike now. Now to get the front wheel on, just make sure you've got your cables. If you've got internally routed cables like I do, just make sure they're all the right way, not tangled up. Then once you get everything done, we'll give it a wee little wipe off. But so far, it's been pretty easy installation. Also, just another tip, when you're running your brakes, when you're attaching your brakes back on here, make sure you're running it through the inside. You don't want that cable on the outside, because if it's liable to snag and something, or if you have a crash, you're just going to pull that whole hose right off. So loop it, it's got a little runner here, and just be careful with those little things, those little attachment things, because they're pretty small. But just run it in the inside of the tube. Top tip number 76. So that's it installed. So far so good. Wheels running through, check the brakes there. I'm just going to give everything a wipe down with some alcohol rag, because there's been grease and stuff, and I don't want my brakes to get polluted or anything. And just make sure there's no metal filings or anything on your tubes, and just get all the excess grease cleaned up, and then we'll go and test it out. There I'm able to get so much air, it's easier to get the absolutely amazing, night and day difference. So we got the Rockshox Judy installed, and night and day. It's after the first been riding it for about 30 minutes. No trails, but I mean jumping off curbs and going over grass and bumps and stuff, and just the difference in weight is unbelievable. I'm dialing it in, just adding more air and releasing more air, finding out the sag weight and stuff like that for my preferences. But very impressed, huge weight difference. And I'm not a mechanic by any means. Like I done this in my bedroom with basic tools, so if I can do it, you can do it. And yeah, very impressed.